When I turned 16, I had trouble deciding on what job to get. I really wasn't excited to work at the typical fast food or retail job, but at that age, there weren't many options. I had done babysitting before, but only for my parents' friends. My mom suggested I should try to do it as a part-time job for other people as well, and with no other appealing options, I took her advice. There was a local babysitting company in my town that helped both babysitters find work and parents find babysitters. I had an interview and they approved me to start working there, which was a big help because I didn't know enough people personally to make enough money. I worked there for 2 months, and the only downside was that I almost always babysit for a different family. Mostly it was just parents going away for a special night or something, so they didn't have recurring work for me. I finally had one of the previous parents book another appointment with me. It was a single dad who took care of his daughter, Alyssa. All I remembered about him was that he didn't talk much. He had the next appointment scheduled from 6 to 10, so at 6 o'clock I pulled into his driveway and knocked on his door. He opened the door and gestured for me to come in. I stepped inside and Alyssa came from around the corner to say hi. Then the dad told me very specific, unusual instructions for the night. He said he would be back at exactly 10 p.m., but that I needed to leave a few minutes before that. I simply nodded and said okay, no problem. But after he left, I thought about it more. It was a bizarre request, and I didn't know why he would be so strict about that. Over the time I babysit Alyssa, we did all the usual things. We played a few games, watched some of her favorite shows, and ate a small dinner. At one point, she took a quick nap on the couch, and I decided to walk around the house. Not to be creepy or anything, but just to make sure everything was normal. The dad left me with a bad feeling, so it made me feel better to see that the house was normal. But thinking about it more, I didn't feel comfortable leaving the house before he got home. It didn't feel right, and he made it out to be a little bit creepy. So, come a few minutes before 10, I took Alyssa upstairs and got her ready for bed, then waited on the couch downstairs for the dad to come home. I knew he would probably give me a look or ask why I was still home, but I was sure that he would understand if I explained myself. I kept track of the time on my phone, and at exactly 10, I watched out the window at the driveway for him to come home. A few minutes passed and he still hadn't shown up. Then another 5 minutes and he still hadn't come home. This was only strange because he had been so clear about being home at exactly 10 and even wanted me to leave early. I was glad I stayed at this point because leaving Alyssa alone for more than a few minutes like he said would not have been safe. Once 20 minutes came and went, I tried to call him. The phone rang for a while, then he answered. "Hey, I just wanted to check in and make sure everything was okay. I'm still here waiting for you to come home," I said. There was a long pause. "I told you to leave before 10. Please, go home now." I didn't know how to respond, but then he added on, "I'm waiting for you to leave." I let out a shaky, "Okay," then hung up. Things were getting really creepy now, and I was not comfortable being in the house, but even less comfortable with leaving Alyssa alone in the house. I decided to call the police. I had no contact with the dad during the 10 minutes I waited for the police to come. But almost as soon as they arrived, the dad pulled into the driveway as well. I explained myself and everything strange that was going on, but the dad denied ever telling me to leave before he got home, or that he was waiting for me to leave. He claimed he was just running late, and that over our phone call he told me that he'd be home in a few minutes, nothing else. He allowed them to look around,